cut the intro because we have some stuff to discuss. So CM Punk recently did an interview on his friend Colt Cabana's Art of Wrestling podcast, and he finally addressed the reason why he left WWE. Even though a lot of information revealed was what we already knew, working for WWE is like hell on earth, Triple H is the spawn of the devil, and CM Punk is God's gift to the world. But what we did get is a peek behind the curtain to see why all of that is true. In this video, I'll be discussing my 5 takeaways from CM Punk's tell-all interview. CM Punk is a very principled individual. This is apparent through the fact that he's straight edge. He has a set list of values and beliefs that he will not compromise. But one issue that he was willing to compromise time and time again was his own health.
I got a concussion in the Royal Rumble, but I was doing this weird stubborn thing where I was like, I'm fine, I can work because that's the way I always been, and that's what they instill in you, because if I didn't work, I'd get punished. Roll under the fucking corner, and I motion to Doc, and I go, I have a concussion. Next thing I know, one of the refs is like, Kane's out here. He's going to pull you out early. And my knee-jerk reaction from 15 plus years of being a pro wrestler was, fuck you, I'm finishing this match. If Kane touches me, I'm going to fucking quit. I was beat up. I already needed a knee surgery at that point, but I was the champion. So I was like, got to keep going, got to keep going, got to keep going. And I told Vince that I need this knee fixed. I'll do it after I drop the title to Rock. But I was still actively trying to convince him that dropping the title to The Rock was not the right thing to do. I got surgery on a Wednesday or a Thursday. And then Vince called me like Friday. Well, actually, I'm going to have him send you some travel right now because, I mean, just your elbow hurt. We can have you cut promos. So I was already back on the road after X amount, like 5 days. Not even 4 days.
Is there internal pressure from you, yourself?
Absolutely.
Just being like, you can't say no? Come on, man.
No, I wanted to show them that I was the best at this job, like easily. Like even with my arm in a sling, I'll go cut promos and nobody's going to be able to fucking touch me. Let's talk about me being the champion and me putting all this pressure on me buying into I'm the champion and it's pro wrestling and it's tradition and what would Harley Race do and like all this stuff. And I made every show and I worked my ass off every show. And I like to think I'm an old school guy. And like that was the thing, you know.
Harley loves you.
You get hurt, you fucking tape it up, blah, 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 you know. And that's what I did.
That's why when he says things like this.
But I can't say there was one big thing that led to my decision. And actually, the big thing that led to my decision was my health.
I find it hard to take him at his word. And I'm just going to go ahead and call a spade a damn spade. CM Punk saying that his health was the primary reason why he left WWE, at the very least, is disingenuous. And at the most, it's straight up bullshit. Now, I know that sounds harsh, so if you feel the need to rip me a new ass, then hey, feel free, go ahead and do so. But even with that being said, I do have one question to ask on the matter. Even with CM Punk's injuries being as serious as he claimed, do you believe that if he was offered the main event of WrestleMania 30, that he still would have walked out? If you say no, then you prove my point exactly. And if you say yes, he would have still left anyway, then I would suggest your ass go listen to that interview again. And here are the 2 reasons why he relied on that injury angle so heavily. A, it sounds much better than the truth, which is, I left because I stopped getting my way. And B, this pretty much puts him in a position to garner sympathy. And it also provides a shield from criticism too, because anyone who even attempts to criticize his methods is automatically going to come off like an asshole. And if nobody else is willing to do that, then hell, I volunteer as tribute, because there are some contradictions in the things that he says that need to be addressed. This entire interview was an attempt from Punk to make it seem as if he's been victimized by WWE, when in all actuality, a lot of what happened to him was his own damn fault. And understand this, saying that is in no way attempting to absolve WWE from any wrongdoing and say that they're angels, because the story that CM Punk tells about WWE's doctor, then that dude is a fucking hack.
I got hit with something and it fucking rung my bell and I got a concussion. But we were leaving for Europe the next day. So Doc was leaning on me going, do you have a concussion or can you go to Europe kind of thing? And I was just like, you pigs. I'll go to Europe, whatever. That's on me. That's my fault. I probably shouldn't have.
His number one job as a doctor should be looking out for the health and well-being of his patients, aka looking out for the health of the WWE superstars, not fulfilling some agenda. So for that bullshit, you get no pass in my book. No one should ever be placed into a situation where they're given a choice to ignore a serious health issue. However, CM Punk was given that choice, and once again, he willingly compromised his own health in an effort to make people believe that he was something more than what he actually was. In no uncertain terms, he told Vince, if you do not view me as everything that I say I am, then fire me. And as good as CM Punk was, truth be told, he vastly oversold himself. And through this interview, you can see the difficulty that he had from the internal pressure of attempting to live up to the delusions of grandeur that he sold everyone. Injury after injury after injury after injury. He kept telling himself that it was all going to be worth it. I have a concussion, my knee is fucked up, my ribs are broken. So what? I'm going to show these assholes that I'm everything that I say I am. Then they can't deny me. Best in the world. And credit to him. It worked. For a while. He forced his way into a 434-day title reign. And as long as they continued to buy into his bullshit, he would get what he ultimately wanted. The main event of WrestleMania. But here's the problem. They stopped buying it. Now, don't be mistaken. His fragile and insecure ass is in no way, shape, or form a helpless victim that was chewed up by the system in WWE. This is quite simply the story of someone with a superiority complex that had to come face to face with reality. This line of thought perfectly folds into my second takeaway from the CM Punk interview.
Because I'm going to play, not devil's advocate, but I'm going to play asshole who's complaining to you on Twitter / Facebook, whatever. Fuck you. You should be happy. We made you. We gave you millions. I see this one. I bought your house. I bought your house. You owe me explanations for everything. You owe me this. You owe me that.
You didn't buy my fucking house,
Apparently
motherfucker.
Apparently they did.
I bought my fucking house. I think that's like a weird generational thing, like that entitlement. And it's kind of shocking to me.
Oh, really? What's so funny about that is that CM Punk himself has a very strong sense of entitlement, and then on top of that, apparently he has no idea what the fuck the phrase means, because if he did, then he would literally be the last person on earth in this very moment that would be shocked by somebody feeling entitled.
Every time you say no to me, that's a frustration notch, right? In your badge.
I don't know how many WrestleManias in a row where I went out there, I felt I stole the fucking show, but this time it was different because they were like, "Wow, you really should have went on last," and I got so fucking mad, and I said, "You better fucking pay me like I did. If you pay me like I did, I got no fucking problem." They did not pay me like I did. They did not give me what I thought I should have made. I got into a huge screaming match with Vince about that because he's like, "Did you watch it back yet?" And I was like, "No." "Why? God damn it. You should be proud of that." And I was like, "Fuck you. I was there. Pay me." But Hunter told me I was in main event because I wrestled The Undertaker. And I turned to him and I said, "Tell me that I got paid the same amount of money as you, Brock, Cena, Rock." I'm not fucking stupid. The main event is the last match. There's one main event. There's always been one main event. And I deserved it. Just go out there and have fun. She's like, "Fuck you, this place sucks. And on top of that, you're not fucking paying me nearly enough to do this fucking shit. You're not. And I don't care anybody out there's like, "Oh, you made millions." Yeah, I should have made fucking 10. You need to fucking fix this. You need to pay me. I complained about my Mania pay. I should not get any less than Taker, Brock, Triple H, Rock, or John Cena. But I know I got paid way fucking less than all of those fucking guys. Even if one of them got $1 fucking dollar more than me, I was outraged. I should be fucking paid accordingly.
This is the same guy that at the beginning of the interview said this.
Money's not everything, ladies and gentlemen. That'll be a big theme in my story.
Where the fuck was that in this interview? Apparently, he's saving that one for part 2. No wonder CM Punk never main evented WrestleMania, because on the road to WrestleMania, he's lost with no fucking sense of direction at all.
How many active members of the roster have been in a WrestleMania main event? How do you expect anybody to get fucking better? AHL hockey players have to play with NHL hockey players in order to get better. I needed the experience of a main event at WrestleMania with somebody who is equal or better than me, so I could learn, so I could further become an asset to the fucking product. So I could draw more.
Sounds very noble and upstanding, right? And I would give him credit for that well-crafted reason, but here's the problem. He said something completely different earlier on in the same damn interview.
At the time, the goal was still WrestleMania main event. I kept asking what was going on for Mania. Vince kept very disappointingly telling me that it was going to be the rematch between Cena and Rock, and I was just like, that's going to be awful. If people want to call me a politician, I was trying to politic my way into the main event, but it wasn't like, let me beat everybody. It was, hey, let's do a 3-way. It'll be elimination. Have somebody pin me in fucking 5 minutes. I don't care. And then I'll be able to be like, I did the main event of WrestleMania, and I'll be able to move on. Fuck it. You know, it won't be such a hang-up for me anymore. It won't be such a mindfuck.
This is why so many people like CM Punk, because he plays both sides of every fucking issue. And rather than sit down, listen, and critically think and say, I think he just contradicted himself. They just pick whatever side that sounds the best to them, ignore the other side, and say, hey, he's awesome. On one hand, he says, I'm just looking out for the roster and what's best for business. Vince is just too old and out of touch to realize it. And then he turns around and selfishly says, just put me in the main event of WrestleMania. You can eliminate me in 5 minutes. I just want to be able to say that I was in the main event of WrestleMania. Don't those two things contradict each other? And if they don't contradict each other, what the fuck do you expect to learn in 5 minutes that will help the business? One of the main reasons why CM Punk became popular in WWE is because he positioned himself as a martyr. The voice of the voiceless, the corporate rebel that was willing to sacrifice his own career, fall on his sword, just to see a change in the way that business was done. But this, much like nearly everything else he said in this interview, was bullshit.
I said, I'm going to prove to you that I am exactly everything that I say that I am, and I am who I know I can be. I just need the machine to get behind me.
Then later on in that same interview, another contradiction.
Pro wrestling is just the weirdest fucking business in the world. Pro wrestling was awesome when it was me and you and Prazak and Chuck Smooth, and we were driving down to Ian's, and there wasn't all this bullshit, and we sat in the locker room, and everybody pissed in a community bucket, and we wrestled for little or no fucking money. You know what I mean? That was fucking pro wrestling. Now you try to put that in the confines of a publicly traded company where everybody's like, oh no, I'm a businessman, and Hunter's running around in suits going, oh, you know, I never wanted a real job because I never wanted a suit, and haha, golly, look at me now. It's just like, it's the most bipolar business in the world.
Apparently, CM Punk fails to realize that if at any point he actually wanted to go back to pissing in community buckets, then he could have. If he truly wanted wrestling in its most pure form, then contrary to what he said earlier on in the interview, WWE isn't the only game in town. However, it is the only game in town that provides a huge platform like WrestleMania. It is the only game in town that would enable you to comfortably retire as a millionaire in your mid-30s. All of that was made possible by the corporate machine that you apparently hate. So let me get this straight. You resent the system, but then you want that very same corporate machine that you hate to support you, give you money, push you to the main event of WrestleMania, the biggest fucking corporate sellout event in wrestling history, and you politic your way through it all. I said this all the way back in 2011 about CM Punk, and it's even more apparent now. He never wanted to change the system. He just wanted to change who was benefiting from it. By far, the best part of this interview was CM Punk revealing the shocking news that he didn't quit WWE. Apparently, he was fired. On his wedding day, no less. I found it absolutely hilarious that they saved this for the end of the interview like it was some big fucking game changer when this literally changes nothing.
When you just boil it all down, the essence of it was, I was miserable, I was unhappy, fuck it. And I just looked Vince in the eye and I said, I do not love this anymore. I'm fucking sick. I'm fucking hurt. I'm fucking confused. I don't know as a business what we're doing anymore. Every day you tell me this is a team effort, but every day it's a fucking individual effort by me to find what's necessary to even fucking come here. I said, it's not fun. I have zero fucking passion for this. And I was just like, right on. All right. I said, I'm out of here.
Right.
You have shackled me. You have creatively stifled me. You have made this a very toxic environment. I no longer want to be here. And I said, goodbye. And I walked out.
In CM Punk's last meeting with Vince McMahon and Triple H, in no uncertain terms, he said he did not want to be there anymore. But then during the interview, you had Punk and Colt Cabana sitting around playing that semantics bullshit. But you didn't actually say the words, I quit, did you? Why did he need to? He said himself during the interview that he wasn't holding WWE up for anything, and that pretty much proves that it wasn't a negotiating tactic, so what the hell was the purpose of him even walking out to begin with? There was not one bit, iota, smidgen, not one particle of uncertainty present that could possibly be seen as anything other than him quitting.
Vince texts me and says that I'm suspended. He says, well, I wish you could have, lasted until the end of your contract, but you're suspended for 2 months. So I did the math in my head. It was the day after Mania, my suspension was up. So I was like, all right, I'm missing Mania. Fucking whatever. I don't care. I hate wrestling at this point. You know what I mean? I'm just like, blah, whatever. Sure. So the 2 months is up, and I don't hear anything. Nobody texts me. Nobody says your suspension is up.
I love the fact that he's willing to play stupid just for the sake of painting himself as a victim. Why the hell would they need to call you and tell you that your 2 month suspension is up? Do you not have a fucking calendar? 1, 2. As simple as that. And if lack of communication was truly a big enough problem for you, then why didn't you just call them? I know nothing was wrong with your phone because it worked perfectly fine when your ass was calling about them late checks, Mr. Money's Not Everything. Your #1 career goal was to main event WrestleMania. But at that time, you hated wrestling so much that you were actually happy that you missed out on the biggest show of the damn year. So even if they did call you, how would that have changed anything? At no point during this interview whatsoever did CM Punk ever even remotely express any kind of interest in going back to WWE. So I find it hard that he was outraged at being fired from a job that he never intended to return to in the first place. And as far as you receiving the termination papers on your wedding day, if WWE made you as miserable and made your life as terrible as you make it out to be, hell, that's more of a reason to celebrate. Just to sum everything up, it was a lot of fun poring over that interview and dissecting the hell out of it like I was a prosecutor preparing for a cross-examination. So that was all a lot of fun. But I was confused by a lot of what CM Punk said in this interview because it was so weird. He couldn't decide whether he was the big, strong rebel that dared to fight the mighty WWE, or whether he was some helpless victim that got chewed up and spit out by the evil giant. And my whole thing is this. Obviously, he believes that his reason for leaving WWE was righteous, but why the hell do you need to make people believe that you were victimized by WWE just so they can believe the same thing that you do? If you believe that the decision that you made was right, shouldn't that be enough? But of course, that goes against everything that CM Punk stands for because he fought so much in WWE to try to make people believe that he was going against the system when all he wanted was acceptance from the system. He failed with that, and now he's going back to the people. That's his, you know, go-to card. Anytime he wants to sell some bullshit, best believe there are a lot of people out there willing to buy it. So I guess that's the way to sum it up. But let me know what you thought about this video, all of the themes that I discussed, and also the CM Punk interview as a whole. And I'll catch you guys next time. Peace.